Tonight, the first blizzard of the season takes aim at Saskatchewan. Saskatoon's police chief looks back at 2025. And chocolatiers in Saskatchewan are paying a hefty price for their goodies.
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
It is Wednesday, December 17th, and the CBC Saskatchewan News starts right now. I'm Ethan Williams. Thank you for joining us. Parts of Saskatchewan are being battered with high winds, heavy snow, and freezing rain. It is the first major storm of the season, and as Katie Swires tells us, it is having a big impact on travel.
A nasty storm has left parts of Saskatoon knee-deep in snow. It comes as a powerful Alberta clipper pounds the province. Saskatoon's Director of Emergency Management is asking people to stay inside.
If you don't have to go out tonight, please don't. And please don't drive on the highways. We want to keep everybody safe. And we're just keep watching the highway hotline to see what's happening outside of Saskatoon.
Golden McLeod says crews are working on keeping Priority 1 streets clear, with dozens of graders, sanders, and plows out doing work. The storm has led to treacherous driving conditions on a number of major highways in Saskatchewan. The RCMP says it has responded to dozens of weather-related calls for collisions and vehicles in ditches.
I actually heard from one of our police officers in Swift Current that the roads are so slippery that it's hard to even stand on the roads, let alone drive.
The moderator of the Highway 11 North Facebook page says she has already seen dozens of posts come in across the province.
That Facebook page has been imperative for so many people that are commuters that have to travel, people that are, going home to get their kids, doctor's appointments. So people are able to reroute their journey or delay their plans if needed.
Many highways have been closed or are not recommended for travel, and flights in and out of Saskatoon's airport have been cancelled. Environment Canada says the system should be cleared up by Thursday morning for most parts. Katie Swires, CBC News, Regina.
And with more on the storm and what we can expect going forward, we're joined now by weather specialist Mickey Wolf. Mickey, this blizzard certainly is hitting hard, which of course was what was expected.
Absolutely, Ethan. We're seeing an especially strong storm right now across most of South and Central Saskatchewan. Like Katie mentioned, it's an Alberta clipper, and let's take a little bit of a closer look at these warnings. So the clipper is bringing with it some of that moisture from BC, specifically the Fraser Valley. So it's picking up that moisture and the strong winds. And as you can see right here, folks, it is bringing an orange level warning blizzard into the province. We're seeing winds still gusting up to 80 kilometers an hour. We've also got an active yellow warning for winds in the southwest. We're seeing winds gusting up to 100 kilometers an hour and excess. And then in the north, you can see a little bit there. We've also got a cold warning for folks in the far north. Temperatures down to minus 45. And just taking a look at our skies right now, Ethan, you can see that blizzard moving through. So hopefully we're going to see that move out, Ethan, by tomorrow morning at the latest.
All right. Thank you, Mickey.
Thank you.
And not only are we seeing impacts from the snow, wind, and rain, but we will also be seeing temperatures take a dive over the next few days. And that can have a big impact, of course, for people who are unhoused. But for those in Prince Albert looking for a place to warm up, there's now another option for these cold winter months. The city has opened an overnight warming center. And as Lisa Rism explains, with extreme cold temperatures, paramedics say the center is helping to save lives.
Frostbite last winter.
With temperatures dipping below minus 20, Darla Ballantyne says she's thankful she spent the night in Prince Albert's new warming shelter.
Yeah, I was really happy that I wasn't sleeping outside on the sidewalk there, because it gets really cold outside.
She's not alone. The city of Prince Albert opened the overnight warming center on Monday. It housed over 25 people in its first night of operation. Known as the Meeting Place, the center is run by the Salvation Army and is open 7 nights a week. Salvation Army Major Ed Dean says it has a capacity of 35 people. He anticipates the number of users to go up as word gets out.
The hospital, the police services, the outreach services, as they become more familiar that we're open, they're going to bring people, as was the case last year.
Dean says shelter beds fill up early and the overnight warming center helps those who were unable to get a bed.
During these bitter cold nights, every space is filled, including the hospital waiting room. And if this space here can erase some of that overcrowding at the hospital, it's done its job. If we save a life this winter from freezing, it's done what it was meant to do.
Lyle Kerstruck with Parkland Ambulance says cold exposure can cause hypothermia, frostbite, and even death. He recommends people call 911 if they're concerned about someone out in the cold.
That comes in as probably as a man or woman down call, to which either the police agency or in our case the paramedics would be sent to those calls, and they would then evaluate what is needed and make the appropriate decisions to make sure that they get help and are safe.
The city of Prince Albert is funding the center through a grant from the provincial government. It's staffed with outreach workers from the Métis Women's Association. The Salvation Army also operates a daytime warming center where people have access to dry clothing, laundry, and showers. Lisa Rism, CBC News, Prince Albert.
Regina Mayor Chad Baczynski has introduced a proposal to reduce next year's mill rate increase by 30%. It came during day 3 of City Council's budget deliberations on Wednesday. Baczynski wants to drop the mill rate increase to just below 11%. That's less than City Administration's original forecast of a nearly 16% increase, but it is still above last year's historic increase of just over 7%. Council is still also looking at cuts to a wide array of city services, hoping to save nearly $13 million.
This is a challenging budget year. We've heard a lot about how we've kept budgets artificially low for years, and we've heard from delegates that made it very clear that we don't want to see a drastic increase in our taxes, and at the same time, we don't want to reduce services and cut the things that make our city livable and vibrant.
Baczynski's proposal is not set in stone. City Council has the rest of the week to introduce amendments to it. The final vote on the budget and the mill rate is scheduled for Friday. Saskatoon City Hall is taking a swing at a controversial proposal to move the Wildwood Golf Course and redevelop the land. Council voted 6-5 Wednesday to study that possibility. The hope is to redevelop the land for housing. But one man who's golfed at the Wildwood for over 20 years says he's confident the links will stay put.
With our taxes always going up, I cannot see the city spending that kind of money before they even close Wildwood. So I would say that it will get nixed.
Councillors say the question has revealed people's passion for the golf course, but it's not the first time City Hall has looked at moving the 94-year-old course. Voters rejected a proposal to move the Wildwood in 1976 and again in 1980. Saskatchewan's Integrated Youth Services Initiative, Home Base, is getting over $1 million to provide mental health and addiction services to people between 12 and 25. The money comes from donations from several organizations. Home Base provides supports like physical health service and education, employment and training, and community and peer supports.
Having these spaces and places have really made a huge difference to them and gives them the opportunity to change how our new younger people are going to be able to access supports and services and truly make a big difference, I would say, for them getting the supports that they want when they need them.
Mental Health and Addictions Minister Lori Carr says the donations will be instrumental in building on the success Home Base has already had. Manitoba says it is turning home ownership into a reality for more First Nations women. In what it calls a step toward gender equality, the province is putting more than $1 million into a housing partnership with Manitoba Tipi Mitawa. The money will help remove barriers for women and their families to become homeowners in Winnipeg. The program is available to First Nations women who are single or have children, but to qualify, they must be below a certain income threshold and have lived in Manitoba for at least 10 years.
Home ownership is a catalyst for stability, security, and generational success. This funding is not merely an allocation of resources. It is an investment of hope, dignity, and the future of our communities. By supporting First Nations women and families, we are building a Manitoba where opportunity and belonging are within reach for all.
Since the program began, it has helped 36 families buy their first homes. All are still in good standing with their mortgages. More than 700 people are on the waiting list. A time-lapse of Saskatoon's Broadway Bridge Thursday. It did not take long for whiteout conditions to engulf our tower cam and stay that way for most of the day. So what's in store after the snow clears? Mickey Wolf is back with the forecast after the break. Welcome back. It's been another year filled with concerns about violent crime in Saskatoon, as well as challenges with homelessness and overdoses. But Saskatoon Police Chief Cam McBride says he still feels safe in his city. Phil Tank sat down with the chief to reflect on the past year and what's to come in 2026.
You might not feel safe walking in downtown Saskatoon, but Police Chief Cam McBride says he does, even when he's unarmed.
There's few things my wife and I enjoy more than walking around downtown Saskatoon or along River Landing with a cup of coffee, enjoying everything that the city has to offer. And we feel completely safe, but some don't.
McBride is completing his first full calendar year as chief, and it was an eventful one. Incidents of violent crime are up, but overall crime, and specifically property crime, is down.
We're seeing increases, significant increases within the realm of social disorder.
The chief says addiction and homelessness push the boundaries of police work, and calls for service are increasing.
Every time we respond to a call, it doesn't necessarily result in a criminal code violation. In fact, much of the time, it ends up in more of an outreach scenario where we're trying to connect people in crisis with appropriate resources.
Next year, spending on police will rise to 1/4 of the city's total budget. McBride says the city will blaze a trail with dedicated transit police, and he'll focus on recruiting more officers. Not an easy task.
There's some really hurtful, damaging things that come out in social media. And so it absolutely will change or alter how somebody may perceive the profession of policing to be.
After 30 years with the force, McBride still believes it's a great job.
I've been a patrol officer, but I've also been a drone operator taking aerial photographs of crime scenes. I've been a forensics officer doing crime scene investigations. I've ridden a Harley-Davidson motorcycle for work, and I've been an explosives technician.
He's hoping his own story will help coax people to sign up to make the city safer. Phil Tank, CBC News, Saskatoon.
A look out of our Saskatoon tower cam on what has been, of course, a very stormy day. Things looking like they're improving a little bit out there, but boy, it is chilly, -17 a temperature in Saskatoon. Weather specialist Mickey Wolf joining us now, and things may be calming down a little bit in some parts, Mickey, but this system is far from over.
Definitely far from over, Ethan, as we're still seeing this storm making its way across the province tonight and likely into tomorrow morning. Let's take a look at our skies. We just saw those cameras in Saskatoon, but as you can see here, folks, we still got that mixed system, especially moving now from southwest to southeast in the province tonight, and I do expect that to continue into the early morning hours and overnight. Those are the winds we saw today. Those are the maximum wind speeds. So definitely wind warning levels. Any of the red spots you see, Saskatoon and then the southwest corner near Maple Creek saw gusting kind of over 80 into the warning levels, 90 plus. So we were dealing with some very strong winds in south and central Saskatchewan today. And looking ahead, we will see the winds start to calm down as this system leaves the province. So this Alberta Clipper is making its way out. Those are their overnight times, as you can see, it'll still bring some heavier snowfall into Regina overnight, but then this should be making its way out of the province by 7 a.m. roughly. We should see that snowfall starting to let up. We will see some clearer skies, thankfully, across most of the province tomorrow. A little bit of mixed sun and cloud before, again, Friday, we're going to see a little bit more snow coming in. Now, I don't expect we're going to see the same sort of heavy numbers we saw with today's blizzard, but still some moderate snow. So let's take a closer look at what to expect. So this is just overnight tonight to midnight. Regina might see up to 12 centimeters in additional snowfall to what we've seen throughout the day. Today, Saskatoon, those numbers are starting to thankfully slow down. Yorkton is looking quite heavy as well into the evening. And then Thursday, we've got a break before Friday. Again, we start to see those numbers go up as much as an additional 20 centimeters for Prince Albert. And then from now until Friday, we're seeing 28 centimeters potentially. Now, these are just one model's numbers of snowfall for Yorkton as well. In the north, though, we're going to see more gradual snowfall. It's going to be concentrated to the Churchill region over the next few days, potentially up to 17 centimeters for Buffalo Narrows. So pretty substantial snowfall there. And then for our winds, we're still seeing those strong winds right now in the southwest corner. Again, that clipper's moving out. We will see a little bit more strong gusting, especially in Moose Jaw and Regina tonight. Then overnight into tomorrow's hours, we'll see things sort of slow down before they pick back up again just a bit Friday. And then hopefully making their way out of the province by then. Our visibility, again, we're seeing a little bit of reduced visibility tonight, but not too much. Looking ahead to our 7 days, we will see things, a little bit of snow Friday for Regina before things clear up Monday and Sunday. And then in Saskatoon, again, Friday, we've got a little bit of snow coming our way before a clear weekend. Things, Ethan, hopefully will clear up for us and be a little less chilly by the time we hit the real holiday stride next week.
Yeah, it looks like at least the snow will be moving fast.
At least the snow. That's right.
Okay, thank you, Mickey.
Thanks, Ethan.
And if anything, this weather is at least putting lots of people in the holiday spirit. The holiday season is one of the busiest times for chocolatiers in Saskatchewan, but a series of events far from home have made for a stressful year for some Saskatoon chocolate masters. Jeremy Warren has that story.
The Christmas rush is on for Vanessa Liang, aka the Foodie Farm Babe. The Saskatoon oncology pharmacist makes luxury chocolate bars to sell online during the holidays. This year, she moved her chocolate laboratory from the garage to the basement. The upgraded kitchen made whipping up batches of bars go smoother, but this year was a rocky road for chocolatiers.
I'm not shipping to the U.S. this year. That's definitely the biggest impact, I think, with the whole tariffs and trade war situation.
Liang says some of her friends with similar side hustles made the same choice. The payoff wasn't worth the hassle of figuring out the new shipping rules. Chocolatiers also had to contend with the environment. Bad weather and crop disease curtailed cocoa production this year.
I was already buying very, very expensive chocolate because I wanted people to be able to experience, really specialty flavors here. But this year was the first time I saw pricing actually be significant from what I paid in previous years.
Hardin & House has made Belgian-style chocolates in Saskatoon for over 4 decades. The holiday season is as busy as usual, but the store did make some changes this year.
It's been actually, to be totally honest, a little bit stressful on both sides of the counter because we had to adjust our retail pricing, but of course in the back end of the business we're paying a much higher price for chocolate.
Hardin says shoppers these days are more inclined to buy local, and his chocolates are a staple in many homes around the holidays.
People still want to have those things that they've built traditions on, so from that point of view, we're having a great season.
So while this year's economic turbulence has left chocolatiers with a bit of a bitter aftertaste, a busy Christmas season will melt away any worries about business slowing down. Jeremy Warren, CBC News, Saskatoon.
Port de Grave, Newfoundland is continuing its holiday tradition by sharing the light, literally. Every year, fishermen go above and beyond, decorating their boats to spread holiday cheer. One organizer says it's been a big part of the season for 27 years. We're back after the break. In British Columbia, people in that province are also dealing with some wild weather. Tens of thousands of customers on the lower mainland are without power after a windstorm took down trees, branches, and power lines Tuesday night. BC Hydro crews are also working to restore power as quickly as possible. Schools in some communities, including Maple Ridge, are closed because they don't have electricity. BC Hydro says this is the third major weather-related power outage this week. And of course, Mickey, we are dealing with some pretty strong winds of our own.
We are absolutely dealing with strong winds right now, Ethan. Not seeing too many downed trees, but we're seeing a lot of blowing snow in the province. But tonight, let's take a look. Thankfully, that should be easing up for us as we get into the early Thursday morning hours. We're still seeing pretty low temperatures across south and central Saskatchewan, and definitely some snowfall still lingering tonight into the early hours. And then in the north, mostly clouds tonight, pretty low temperatures. They've got that cold warning in the far north. And then by tomorrow morning, they're still going to be seeing quite cold temperatures for the far north, especially. Wind chill is going to make that feel quite chilly, a little bit below minus 30 into the daytime hours. And for south and central, we are seeing that system moving out around that 7 a.m. hour. And then thankfully, we're getting some sunny breaks tomorrow. We'll see some sun and cloud by the time we hit the afternoon hours, which I'm looking forward to. Definitely some warmer temperatures in the southwest as well. So Ethan, I don't think there was too much holiday shopping happening today, but maybe tomorrow is the day to go.
Yeah, after we all dig out after that snowstorm. Thank you, Mickey.
Exactly. Thanks, Ethan.
And before we leave you, the country's top female hockey players are heading out on the road to hit the ice in some new cities. The Professional Women's Hockey League is traveling to cities across both Canada and the United States to connect with new fans. It's kicking off Wednesday with the first stop of its tour in Halifax. It's called the Takeover Tour, and it sends players and coaches to cities without their own home PWHL team. The aim is to highlight what the league has to offer and attract new fans. And that is our news for this Wednesday. For news anytime, you can always head to our website or subscribe to the CBC Saskatchewan YouTube channel. You can also download the CBC News app on your smartphone or tablet. Thanks so much for watching. Stay safe out in the snow and stay warm too.